the process that you have the A to the Z, but what goes on in between that A to Z is so important. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Latrice. If you're new, hit the subscribe button, join the family. I'd love to have you over here on my channel. So I hope I don't look too crazy. I don't have on any lashes, any makeup, because sometimes I just don't feel like it. But anyway, I wanted to come on here and just give you guys a quick inspiration, encouragement, whatever the case may be, and talk about like trusting your process. And this will probably have many different videos about trusting your process, but this morning I was just happened to go on like my old blogging website, and I was looking at my old blog posts. I started blogging in 2014, and looking back at those blog posts like made me super emotional. I'm already super emotional, so I don't know if it was a good idea or not, but looking back at like my old work and just seeing how far I've come, even though I'm not necessarily where I exactly want to be right this moment, I am just so thankful. Like, I am so full and so thankful just to see where I've come from, because I'll be honest, like, I don't give myself the credit that I'm due. You know, like I said, I can put a lot of pressure on myself and struggle to really give myself like, Kavaya, you did that, like, treat yourself, or just give yourself a moment to like dwell in this and appreciate yourself for how far you've come. I don't do that too often. Looking at that this morning was just like, wow, you had no idea that God was going to get you to this point. Since then, God has allowed you to create an app that reaches over 55,000 people. You've wrote a book. You've produced multiple products, and you've spoken at universities, on panels. You've been a keynote speaker at how many events? You run a membership program with someone you look up to, someone who God told you to work with, and at the time you couldn't even afford to work with her, but he opened up a door for you guys to do something together. Like, I just had a reflection moment, and I was like, wow. Wow, like, I am thankful. If nothing else happens, like, I am thankful. I know that I have helped people. I know that I have pushed people closer to God. I know, you know, I know that I've done what God has been wanting me to do, and I know that there's so much more, but I am content with where I am, and it did take me a long time to get to that point, because trust and believe, I have been through hard times. I have felt like I needed to be further, but I just wanted to come on here and encourage you guys to give yourself some credit. Think about how far you've came. You may not be exactly where you want to be, but think about how far you've came. Like, give yourself some credit. When I tell y'all, like, I was just so extremely thankful. And the thing is, when you're in something, or you're in a certain season and God is molding you and he's preparing you for your purpose, you don't really know where it's going to go. You have an image in your mind of where you desire it to go, but you really don't know where this process is going to take you. You can get prophecy after prophecy, and it can be years down where you actually see the fulfillment of those things. So it's just so much that I feel like we truly should be grateful for, and just spend more time giving yourself the credit for where you've come from. Trust the process. I know people say that all the time, but literally, like, and I've said this before, the process, that you have the A to the Z, but what goes on in between that A to Z is so important. I even feel like that what goes on in between is more important than the final destination, because what goes on in between is what is making you, what is preparing you mentally, the spiritual work, the groundwork, the uncomfortableness, the ups, the downs. That work that you do in the process is so important, and we lose a lot of people in the process because we're just looking at the circumstance. We're looking at how long it's taking, what we don't have. You're focused on the wrong things. things. And this is something that I realized that, you know, during my waiting season and trusting the process, I was living in the wrong reality, and God had to check me about that. And I'm still actively, consistently every day working on living in God's reality and not my own, because in Kavai's mind, Kavai's thinking can take her somewhere she don't need to be. If I can be honest with you guys. It's like, you have to give yourself time to be nourished, to be cultivated and planted. Just because you haven't yet seen the fruit of your labor doesn't mean that fruit is not coming and that it's not existing or that it's not even growing. I was watching a movie one day. I know you guys probably watched this before, or if you didn't, no biggie. But it's from Bug's Life, and the character said something that I want to read to y'all. I actually wrote this in my book. The seed's a tree. You may not feel like you can do much now, but that's just because you're not a tree. You have to give yourself some time. You're still a seed. And I think that's so important because, especially like in my generation, millennials, I feel like a lot of us are putting so much pressure on ourselves. And you have to give yourself time to grow. You have to be cultivated. And a lot of us millennials are dreamers. We want to do very big things. We have goals and we have visions, and you can't rush that process. My bishop said to me one day, Kavaya, when God puts you on the mountaintop, he wants you to stay there. And that was hard for me to accept in that moment, because I felt like that was in one of my moments where I was like, God, I should be further than where I am. But God doesn't want to make me an overnight success or for a long time. He wants me to have longevity. So when he does bring me to that mountaintop, I need to stay there. And if that means I have to be in this process a little bit longer, I'm just going to have to take that to the chin and thug this thing out. Because I want longevity, and I want to endure my process with joy, with strength and endurance, so that I have a story to tell, that people can relate to me, and that they can come to me and I can give them solid advice, and I'm not just throwing out some fluff type of story. No, like, I went through something. It was a struggle. My faith was a struggle, but I chose it. And let me tell you something, God does not see a need to speed up your process. Okay, he knows it's going to be complete. You're the one that needs to be fully convinced. There's a scripture of that. Be fully convinced. Let me pull it up for y'all. I got my computer right here. Romans 4:21. Being fully persuaded that God was able to do what he promised. And some of you have heard God whisper things to your heart. He's planted desires inside of you. And you need to be fully persuaded that he's not going to leave you hanging. He is going to follow through. There's no point of him placing desires on you that he isn't going to make sure is brought into full manifestation. But you have to be fully convinced. Listen, there will be moments where you question your yes. You question, you know, why you're even doing this, because sometimes it gets hard. It comes with people looking at you crazy, people not understanding your decisions, but God did not give them the dream. God didn't give them the gift. God didn't give them the vision. And that's real, because people will have a whole lot to say. That's it. I just wanted to give you guys a quick little encouragement to really trust your process, y'all. Trust your process. I know, and I cannot wait to, you know, write books about the waiting season and the process and becoming fully rooted, because there's so much that comes along with that. And I'm just grateful today. I'm grateful to God for his keeping me. I'm thankful for the way that he has provided. And that's another thing. Think back to all the ways God has provided for you. Even when you messed up, even when you didn't manage things well. Okay, like, think back on the goodness of God and trust the process, y'all. Please trust the process. I know we hear it all the time, and I know that it can be such a cliche, but when I tell you, this is the most important part. What you do in the process, how you think in the process, how you pray in the process, how you surrender in the process, how you obey in the process is extremely important. And this is the makings. This is that groundwork. This is the making. So I just encourage you all to stay uplifted. Okay, we got this. You can do this. Okay, that's it for today's video. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.